Hello, my friends, EEARTS family. Hello, hello.
Hello, guys. So we're looking at Navajo Nation. And for many of you out there that are very familiar with the Hopi prophecies, the Hopi believe that where they are is going to be one of the only safe places to be in these times. And also, we have their legends about them emerging from inside the earth, taken into the earth by the ant people, until the cataclysms were over, and then re-emerging in this area. We see the Hopi reservation within the Navajo Nation. And the Navajo Nation is, I believe, the biggest reservation in the country. I think the Cherokee is second, if I remember right. So this is the Four Corners area, and a fascinating area of which we have done a lot of exploring. And so it takes you to our Skinwalkers Reel. Many of you guys might have heard of the famous Skinwalker Ranch. Ooh, that's creepy stuff.
It is creepy stuff, and it's really fascinating too, because you can't just dismiss these things. Not in the world we live in today. I really think they deserve a decent thought.
Okay, so let me ask you, Cindy, are Skinwalkers real?
Absolutely.
Okay, so no doubts there.
None, no doubts at all. None.
Okay, and just to let you guys know, those that haven't watched some of our previous videos or been with us a long time, Cindy's has Native American heritage, as well as I do, and I guess maybe it's in our blood a little bit that we just know these things, but also we've had experiences. We've had a lot of experiences.
Yeah, just too many experiences to dismiss, little things. I mean, how many times does something need to happen before you just realize, okay, this is very real?
Most definitely. And so, the Skinwalker legend is one that's steeped in Navajo tradition. So what are they really? Are they simply shamans that can work themselves up into a trance state and, just regular human beings, albeit with some gifts and some knowledge, that could work them up into a state where they get into a trance and maybe have some supernormal powers? Are they actual shapeshifters, like the legends say? So in some circles, you could equate them to werewolves, in a sense, but they could also change into great cats or bears or kind of anything. They could even change into a crow, according to legends. Very, very interesting, though. The Navajo would definitely avoid them.
Yes.
They are thought to be pretty evil.
Well, they don't even really talk about them. They don't speak about them because in a way it's like calling them in. And I do believe these are extremely gifted beings, albeit, depending on your definition of gift. But they do have some interesting abilities.
Interesting, too, how in the Southwest you have, two legends that really dominate, that of the Skinwalkers and that of the Chupacabras. In some other areas of the country, you'll hear more legends of Bigfoot. Like when living in the North Carolina mountains in the Appalachians, I heard a lot of people talking about Bigfoot and a lot of people talking about the little people. The little people was a big thing. I was a little bit surprised that so many people had so many run-ins with the wee people, the little people. But out here, these are the dominant ones. Now, when we've done a lot of different camping. We've camped all over, especially Nevada, Arizona, California, New Mexico, and Colorado a little bit. And albeit we've only been to the southern part of Colorado, so we have more to explore there. And we've had some interesting encounters. I shared with Cindy back in 2017 during Hurricane Irma. Went camping all the way in New Mexico. Decided, okay, gonna evacuate, and decided, you know what? I want to go to New Mexico. I just felt like going to see Santa Fe, and I felt like getting to the mountains there. And so we went camping up there, Santa Fe National Forest, and Zeke was with me. And Zeke is not afraid of any animals, at all, but he is very sensitive to the paranormal. And so when there's something paranormal out there, he gets this look on his face, and it's kind of like a "don't ask me for help" look. He's like, if there's a coyote, I'll run him off for you, but if it's something unusual and paranormal, don't ask me for help, Pops.
It's above his pay grade.
It is, it is. So in the middle of the night, I heard a deep, deep kind of growling sound and very, very heavy footsteps. And Zeke literally jumped straight on top of me. And it was almost like he was going to put his paw to his lips and go, shh, don't do anything. And it was weird because I could sense out there, and I knew it wasn't a bear, although it felt like it was the size of a bear. The grunt sounded more like a big cat, maybe, type of growl, sort of. And yeah, there are mountain lions and stuff like that. But it felt weird. I couldn't put a finger on it at all. But it just felt unusual. And, it did move on, and we did get back to sleep, but it was really curious. But Cindy and I have had a lot of other encounters too, and she had an encounter with a creature that she really believes was a chupacabra. We sensed it several times. We saw really unusual footprints. It's kind of like 3 big toes, almost more like what a dinosaur would be, is what was imprinted in the sand. And each toe was maybe 7 or 8 inches long in a triangular, kind of like a pyramid shape. So we had seen that before, and we had heard stuff out there. We knew there was something out there. I would turn the light on, go out, take a look, and I wouldn't see anything. We'd go back in, but then we'd see unusual footprints in the morning. And then one night we were sitting, about, 50, 60 feet from the camper, and I went into the camper for something and left her there, and it was, pitch black out. And then all of a sudden she screamed to high heaven.
This thing came lumbering. It was darker than dark. It was blacker than black. That's the best way I can explain it. And it was lumbering down by the fence line. And then the darn thing it got to like the corner of the fence, and Mike had just gone in for a second, and it stood up at that corner and just stared at me. And the frequency it put off, I just started screaming, and I couldn't stop. It's one of those things that I remember feeling that as a child, and that fear, that frozen fear, but you can sure scream really loud. It was horrible. It was horrible.
So she screamed, and then I came back out and around the corner, and she was just freaking out, like pointing, and it sounds like it was a chupacabra. That's what she feels it was. How tall do you think it was?
When it stood up, it might have been like, I don't know, 5'5", 6 foot, somewhere around there, because it was kind of tall but kind of not. It was just mostly big and wide.
And hunched over.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was really curious, but we had other encounters out there too. And one night we saw the same creature. We were both kind of lucid dreaming, and I woke up and was kind of freaking out because I was seeing the creature, and the creature was outside the camper. And it was actually not threatening. It was kind of cute, really. It had a really cute face. It was almost like an Ewok type thing, sort of, but more towards like a lemur look. But it looked at me, and I must have been like traveling with the Merkaba, because it was looking at me like I was just appearing as a ball of light. And it looked really curious. And I took a few steps forward, and I was like, okay, stay right there, little guy, And it woke me up. And then when I woke up, Cindy, was like, what did you see? And I described it. She said, I just saw the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we saw the same thing. So that was really kind of a trip.
That was really cool when you get down to it. So we have spent a lot of time in Navajo Nation and in Hopi land. And we've had some interesting encounters too in the area where we have been staying quite often. There is definitely, Cindy could sense there is one skinwalker in the area, and there's also a chupacabra being in the area.
I do feel him. One of the strange thing though, like I feel a headache coming on first, because their energy, this one's energy isn't too good. I haven't felt that before, but it's happened about 3 times now.
So the legends of the Navajo skinwalkers. And you see a Navajo Indian there dressed in spruce branches rather than animal pelts. Now, they are definitely a terrifying, quote-unquote, mythical creature from folklore, or a cryptid. We could definitely put them into that category. But they are human, and they can't take the form of hideous beasts. This dates back hundreds of years before Stephanie Meyer enthralled the world with what she got rich doing. And I forget who the author was, but I read a great book on Chaco Canyon and Skinwalker legends in that area. And it was creepy. I mean, it was definitely creepy, but it also got me so excited to go explore the whole Four Corners area. So Native American shape-shifting skinwalkers were frightening beings of pure evil, and perhaps they served as a cautionary tale against dabbling in the spiritual unknown. There's a lot of those in different cultures. Here are some of the facts about the Navajo skinwalkers, and some things you may not have or just didn't know. So, looks like he's got some fangs going there. Like werewolves, but also bears. So, like the European stories of werewolves, and Navajo skinwalkers are cursed humans who can transform into other creatures, mostly wolves, bears, and birds of prey as well. They were known as the Yi Nald Lushi, which translates to, with it, he goes on all fours.
Very interesting.
Yeah, stories of the skinwalkers tell us that they are often shamans who cross over to the dark side by participating in secret, forbidden rituals and ceremonies that summon evil forces that allow him to take the form of different predatory animals. Wow, that sounds a lot like Bohemian Grove.
Yes, it does. I mean, notice how they keep saying, these forbidden rituals and evil forces, and they have a purpose. They definitely have a purpose. So I don't know that they're evil.
Yeah. Excuse me, I gotta sneeze.
Okay.
Skull and Bones. Bohemian Grove.
Isn't he cute?
Hillary and Bill. Yeah, right?
Yeah, right.
I mean, it comes up time and time again in all cultures of the world. The lure of the evil forces is so strong that many shamans remain in their animal form for too long, or they lose their humanity, leaving them a dangerous, bloodthirsty hybrid. There goes that hybrid word again.
Things that make you go,
Would you want to see these guys down, somewhere out in the woods in the middle of the night?
No, the one on the far right really gets me.
Yeah, that one's pretty creepy. So, a secret society of skinwalkers. Navajo stories explain that the skinwalkers belong to a secret society of evil shamans who could be living normal lives among the tribe by day. But meet in hidden caves in the night to participate in wicked, twisted rituals that break the Navajo societal norms, including the C word, the I word, and desecrating graves. Wow, I wonder if they ever went to that island. Do you know that guy, the Jeffrey guy, last word begins with E?
Yeah, right.
Right. So leading these rituals is the leader of the skinwalkers, typically an old but very powerful man. So, initiating the skinwalkers. The skinwalkers were an exclusive club. Wait, this sounds
so familiar.
It sounds like DC.
Oh, wow.
Doesn't it?
It does.
Instead of the desert, it sounds like where all our politicians are hanging out.
Yeah.
To become a skinwalker, the shaman had to prove that he was worthy. The initiation into Skinwalker's secret society actually involved... Ouch. Yeah, that's not good. That sounds like a lot of what the gangs do down in Mexico and stuff. Only then could they acquire the great supernatural abilities that they craved. Yeah. The skinwalkers, according to Navajo legends, could take the shape of any animal just by wearing its skin. For this reason, the Navajo people has strict policy against wearing animal pelts. The tribe only wears sheepskin and buckskin because they come from non-dangerous, non-predatory animals, and these skins are only worn during ceremonial events. Skinwalkers, on the other hand, regularly wear the pelts of wolves, coyotes, bears, cougars, and fox. They will even wear animal skulls and antlers on their heads. Now, the frightening abilities. As shapeshifters, skinwalkers could take any form of animal they wanted, not just those whose skins they wore. A good skinwalker could turn himself into a hawk, or a cow, or a dog. In addition, skinwalkers could transform themselves into any person they wanted, stealing the faces and identities of others to win the confidence of their victims. Some Navajo tales explain the skinwalker who took the form of another tribe member could be discovered by looking into his animal-like eyes. But it's ill-advised to look in the eyes of a skinwalker. They could take control of another person's thoughts and actions simply by locking eyes with them. Skinwalkers could move more quickly and showed incredible endurance. Some stories tell of skinwalkers running more than 200 miles in a single night. Skinwalkers were responsible for murders, animal attacks, and disappearances among the Navajo people. Sickness and unexplained deaths were also attributed to the presence of skinwalkers. Skinwalkers terrorized humans with nighttime noises and chasing lone individuals away from villages. Just like, you know how the coyotes bait you at night?
Yes, they do. They do. That's terrible.
Yep. Yeah, we hear those. Navajo legends say that one cannot fight evil with evil. The only way to stop a skinwalker is to learn his true identity and then call him by his full name. This dose of reality is enough for the skinwalker to stop his evil ways. He will then have to face the wrong that he inflicted on the others, which is often enough to get the skinwalker eventually killed.
Well, that's a lot easier to stop a skinwalker than it is someone in D.C.
Yeah, that's for sure. Most definitely then. Yeah, who would you rather face? Yeah. Would you rather see this guy in the middle of a dark alley? Dark alley, or would you rather face Hillary?
Oh, this guy for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, we're picking on Hillary tonight. We're just trying to get a laugh for you guys. Like, a little levity, because this is like scary stuff.
Well, Halloween is around the corner.
It is. So most Navajo people still believe in skinwalkers, though most that do are reluctant to talk about them. Yeah, they don't want to draw them to them. You don't want to even mention it. Like Cindy said, oh boy, it's going to be an interesting night if we start talking about this. So the fear of skinwalkers still manifests in the Navajo way of life. Very few Navajo people will venture outside at night alone. Sightings of strange, unexplained creatures has been attributed to skinwalkers even to this day. Modern creepy skinwalkers often appear in secluded roadways late at night and try to get drivers to swerve and crash their cars. Other reports claim that skinwalkers have been seen leaping over moving cars or running alongside fast-moving cars on desolate freeways. Ooh, that's some creepy stuff. So the powers and the abilities get me thinking of in a different light, because these superpowers that yogis can attain. And so you have 9 main superpowers and 8 additional superpowers that yogis can attain, but they're warned to not allow the temptation of these powers to pull you into the dark path.
Right. That's important, though. It's true.
It's a big warning too, because again, you know, a little power can corrupt, and then absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Yes.
You know, so as you gain abilities, the temptation will be there to just basically cultivate the abilities instead of cultivating the inner wisdom.
Right. You know, people want to cultivate for their own needs, and when you really should be cultivating for others.
So one of them is enabling one to enter the body of somebody else and even resurrect somebody else. Now we know about Christ resurrecting the dead. Krishna resurrected the dead. There's been other yogis that have been said, and other holy people that have actually resurrected the dead, according to traditions. Another power is that you don't really have to eat and drink anymore. And we have yogis that have been monitored. And I've done videos on that where this one yogi was monitored twice for 21 days. He didn't eat or drink. They watched him, closed circuit camera, TVs, all the time. They monitored him entirely. He did not eat or drink. And, you know, the eating, okay, people can fast for a long time. But the drinking of water for like 21 days, you're supposed to be dead, you know, well before that. Although I do know people personally that have done 6 and 7 day dry fasts. Although, you know, of course, the modern science would strongly advise against doing that and would even deny that it's even possible. Another one is what we see with Wim Hof, and that's basically the ability to control the elements and to keep your body warm in freezing temperatures and cool in amazing heat. So we'll see yogis walk over hot coals. We've seen Wim Hof immersed in water that should have killed him for hours, and his body temperature was perfectly fine and actually higher than normal. Another one which is really interesting is basically the ability to manifest things out of thin air. And that gets you thinking about manna from heaven, as well as others. So the ability, again, to control the elements, even to the point of being able to just say, I want a cheese pizza, extra garlic. And boom, there you go. Also, the ability to increase your size or decrease your size. And if you're familiar with the Ramayana, that's like one of the abilities that Hanuman was supposed to have. He could go and shrink himself down and look like a tiny little monkey, cute little monkey, and then he could become 100 feet tall or even higher. And then also, there's many other ones, typical ones like clairvoyance, the ability to read other people's thoughts, telepathy, psychokinesis, the ability to move objects, pyrokinesis, set things on fire. All sorts of different abilities were attributed, but there was a very, very strong warning to don't get caught up in these abilities, because if you do, then you might end up going this route.
Yeah, you might, even though I think this is still better than what's in DC right now.
Oh, gosh. So on that note, we will thank you guys. Please do subscribe if you haven't subscribed to both channels, EEARTS and Evolutionary Energy Arts. Thank you for your support on Patreon and Ko-Fi. We can't do it without you guys. God bless. Stay safe out there. Keep the light on tonight. Namaste.
Namaste.